Billionaire mom sees black waitress feeding her blind daughter. What happened next shocked everyone. Is anyone here brave enough to notice the girl who can't see us? Benji Carter's voice cut through the low hum of Rain and Roast, just as his phone camera locked onto the lonely 11-year-old at table 6. Outside, December rain painted the Seattle windows gray, but inside, Marisol Mari Davis felt heat ignite behind her ribs. The child's fingers searched the bare tabletop for a Braille menu that wasn't there. Her dark glasses hid everything except the tremor in her chin. Mari was wiping the espresso machine, pretending not to watch, until the girl whispered, barely louder than the hiss of steaming milk, "Mom, please come back before the cocoa gets cold." That single plea slid under Mari's skin like a splinter. Around her, well-dressed tech workers, people whose stock grants could buy the whole block, pretended the scene was invisible. Even Tom, the shift manager, just muttered about VIP liability and shot Mari a warning glance. The cafe's newest ceramic mugs, pure white with an elegant Rain and Roast logo, gleamed on the top shelf. Mari chose the only one with a tiny chip along its rim, a flaw management hadn't spotted yet. She filled it with rich cocoa and balanced it on a saucer beside a warm dulce de leche cookie, every move a silent rebellion. As she crossed the floor, Benji's livestream audience counter ticked up, thousands now, each viewer witnessing the same moral test. "Hi there," Mari said, steady but soft, placing the chipped mug gently against the girl's fingertips. "I'm Mari. This is for you? On the house." The girl's face lifted just enough for a half smile. "I'm Lena. My mom said to wait." "And she'll be back," Mari assured her, though the certainty tasted like a lie. Lena traced the mug's crack with delicate curiosity. "It feels broken." "It's mended," Mari corrected, hearing her abuela's voice about kintsugi, the art of turning fractures into gold. Sometimes broken things just need someone to notice they can still hold warmth. Across the street, a black town car idled, exhaust swirling like ghost breath. Inside sat Eleanor Whitmore, North Star Dynamics founder, AI visionary, Forbes cover legend, watching the live feed on her screen, calculating optics and damage control instead of motherhood. While Lena sipped, Tom stormed over, hissing, "We discussed VIP protocol. One more stunt and you're done." Mari's pulse hammered, but she held Lena's chipped cup steady. If serving a child cocoa is a stunt, maybe this place needs a new headline. Somewhere in the digital ether, Benji's viewers erupted. "Invisible child rocketed up Twitter trends." Mari didn't notice. Her focus stayed on Lena, who now relaxed enough to hum a melody that reminded Mari of Angel practicing jazz scales at home. The cafe door chimed again. Tom's eyes widened as Eleanor Whitmore entered, power wrapped in an ivory trench coat, rain diamonds glittering on her shoulders. She surveyed the empty saucer, the chipped cup in Lena's hands, then fixed on Mari with a gaze sharp as surgical steel. "So," she said, voice silk over razors, "you're the barista who fed my daughter without permission." Mari felt every customer's stare cling to her apron like lead weights, but the only thing she saw was the faint cocoa mustache on Lena's upper lip. She inhaled, ready to answer, and, crack, the live stream glitch popped, freezing Eleanor's glare on thousands of screens. Outside, sirens began to swell toward the block. Whether they came for coffee, chaos, or something far larger, Mari couldn't yet know. But the next move would cost her far more than a job. Name your price and walk away. Eleanor Whitmore's offer detonated in the center of Rain and Roast before the blinking siren lights even painted the windows red-blue. Her driver slipped a slim envelope across the counter, stack of hundreds, non-disclosure template on embossed paper, while Tom hovered, equal parts terror and greed. Mari's heart thumped so hard she feared Lena could hear it through the ceramic in her hands, yet she studied the chipped mug's white scar as if it were a compass. Around them, customers filmed on discreet phones, weighing viral clout against corporate wrath. Benji's frozen live stream suddenly lurched back to life, broadcasting Eleanor's ultimatum to tens of thousands. A silent chorus of emojis tumbled up the screen like debris in a storm. "Money fixes fractures," Eleanor pressed, eyes flicking to the chip. "Gold lacquer, right? Kintsugi? Consider this your gold." Marie tasted copper on her tongue. Rage or courage, impossible to tell apart. She pictured Angel's prescription refill waiting on a pharmacy shelf they could barely afford, the overdue community college bill taped to their fridge, the eviction notice they pretended was junk mail. One signature could silence her conscience and solve everything, but only if she agreed Lena's loneliness was a commodity worth cashing out. "Some breaks aren't meant to be hidden," Mari said, sliding the envelope back. "This mug stays chipped, and so do my principles." Gasps rippled. Tom sputtered, but Eleanor's expression barely twitched. She motioned to security. A guard approached with corporate efficiency, informing Mari she was terminated for violating health code protocols and jeopardizing a minor, legal phrases weaponized to erase empathy. The guard escorted her to the back hallway as Lena's small voice rose. "Mom, she was kind. Please don't—" The door slammed, cutting off the plea like scissors through thread. In the stockroom, Marie retrieved her coat, realizing the sirens were not police, but media vans responding to the viral feed. Outside, reporters jockeyed beneath umbrellas, scenting scandal. Tom thrust a final paycheck at her as if it were contaminated. She stepped into the deluge, instantly soaked, envelope pulsing ink through the paper like blood. From the alley, Benji called her name. He looked guilty, admitting his stream had exploded worldwide. "I can help," he insisted, revealing a North Star badge. He'd once been a data engineer, fired for whistleblowing on algorithmic bias. Twist sucked the breath from Mari's lungs. The richest woman in tech was already haunted by someone who knew her code lied. Benji offered a thumb drive of corrupted retinal scan data, proof North Star suppressed error rates that could have saved kids like Lena. "Take this," he urged. "Expose her." Mari hesitated. Possession meant felony charges if caught, yet her fingers closed over the drive, its plastic edge sharp as a promise. Rain hammered the chipped mug still clutched in her other hand, water tracing the crack like liquid gold. A town car window rolled down. Lena's face appeared, worry eclipsing fear. "Mari?" she called. Before Mari could answer, the car accelerated into traffic, leaving her alone amid sirens, reporters, and a flash drive humming with dangerous truth. Her phone buzzed. "Unknown number. North Star HR requested her presence at headquarters 9 a.m. tomorrow regarding a unique opportunity." Mari's pulse raced. Was it a trap, a bribe, or the beginning of a fight she could not afford to lose? The rain hushed for one impossible second, as if the city itself waited to hear her decision. "Sign this waiver, or security will escort you to the basement lab for biometric scanning." The HR woman's tone was air conditioner cold as she slid a digital tablet across the polished lobby desk of North Star Dynamics, its glass surface reflecting Mari's rain-damp face and the tiny chip in the porcelain mug she still refused to leave behind. She had brought the cup like armor, tucked in her tote beside Benji's incriminating thumb drive, its hairline fracture reminding her that visible cracks could safeguard hidden truths. All around her, white marble walls pulsed with holographic ads proclaiming vision for all, while employees, mostly white, mostly wealthy, glided through facial recognition turnstiles none of them questioned. Mari read the waiver's first line. Acknowledgement of proprietary exposure. Subject to imprisonment under CFAA if information disclosed. A lawful muzzle disguised as routine paperwork. She met the HR woman's stare. "Is that your idea of hospitality?" "Protocol," came the reply, but a flicker of doubt crossed the woman's eyes. Maybe she recognized the irony of forcing retina scans on a barista who'd just defended a blind child. Mari signed nothing. Instead, she pressed the chipped rim of her mug to the sensor plate. The machine blinked red, confused by ceramic where iris should be. "Guess I'm hard to categorize," she said, stepping past security before they'd processed the rebellion. The elevator whooshed her to the 42nd floor, the cloud deck, birthplace of North Star's diagnostic AI. The doors opened on a panoramic view of Lake Union, rain veining the glass like data streams. Waiting there was Cole Whitmore, Eleanor's older brother, gray at the temples but eyes alive with restless compassion. "Marisol Davis," he greeted, hand extended. "I've heard you don't fold easily." She kept her tote between them, unsure if he was ally or bait. Cole gestured toward a conference pod whose walls shimmered opaque the moment they entered. "I'm here without Eleanor's blessing," he said. "Our board wants a settlement, your silence, but I want the truth." He slid a file across the table. Court documents sealed after Lena's accident, medical reports showing experimental treatments Eleanor had blocked. Mari's pulse thrummed. The puzzle pieces aligned with Benji's corrupted data. The same algorithm misdiagnosing thousands had once misread Lena's early retinal scans, delaying intervention until it was too late. "Why show me this?" she asked. "Because you're the first person Lena has trusted in years," Cole said. "And because guilt grows toxic when it stays underground." At that, an alarm pinged softly overhead. Internal security alert. On a screen, Mari saw a live feed. Benji stood outside North Star's front gates holding a cardboard sign. "Your AI is broken and so are your ethics," reporters swarming. Eleanor herself strode into the frame, flanked by lawyers. Cole paled. "We have 15 minutes before they trace this meeting." Mari weighed the risks. Flash drive evidence, sealed medical files, a public whistleblower on the doorstep. One move could topple a trillion-dollar empire or bury her family in legal ruin. She reached into her tote, fingers brushing the mug, then the drive, as if choosing between fracture and fuse. "Cole," she said, voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "How deep are you willing to let this crack run?" Lights in the pod flickered. Security override began sealing doors. Outside, thunder rolled over Seattle like a judge's gavel, and the elevator banks went dark one floor below, leaving Mari with seconds to decide which fracture would guide the gold. "If we're going to crack the dam, do it before they cut the oxygen," Cole muttered as the conference pod doors began to lock with a hydraulic hiss, glass frosting into an opaque prison. Mari's reply was a single decisive motion. She jammed the chipped porcelain mug into the track, fracture pressed against metal so the sensors misread resistance as obstruction. The doors froze half-closed, one imperfect edge defeating a perfect system, and an emergency override spat out a 2-second window. Cole hauled her through a side corridor, lit only by crimson backup strips, alarms pulsing like an arrhythmic heartbeat. They descended a maintenance stairwell that smelled of ozone and concrete ambition, bypassing biometric checkpoints with Cole's master badge. "Server spines 3 floors down," he said between breaths. "If we seed your evidence there, every synced device from boardroom to bedside will mirror it before Eleanor can scrub." Mari pictured Angel's calloused pianist fingers, the eviction notice, the check she'd refused. Each image felt like a stone she carried, heavy yet honest. At sub-basement level, they reached a titanium door labeled Orion Core. Cole keyed in a code, the panel flashed green, and suddenly rows of humming racks stretched before them, North Star's digital bloodstream. Mari slid Benji's thumb drive into an open port. The interface sprang to life, displaying retinal heat maps splashed in alarming reds where the AI had blinded possibilities, misclassifying dark-skinned corneas as low confidence. She initiated a cascade upload to a decentralized civic blockchain, her pulse sinking to the progress bar. 40%, 60. The system fought back, scripts spawning like antibodies, but Cole typed override commands faster than security could trace. Overhead, she imagined the chipped mug still wedged in glass, holding space the way a scar holds memory. At 94% completion, Eleanor's voice flooded the intercom. No corporate veneer, only raw fury edged with fear. Mari, I will bury you and everyone you love. Stop now and I'll fund your brother's surgery, your mother's mortgage, your entire future. The offer sliced deep. Gold lacquer, quick fix, the familiar temptation of sealed cracks. Mari's hand hovered over the cancel key, tremor betraying the war inside her. Then she spotted a maintenance cart beside the server. On its shelf lay a box of powdered ceramic repair. Kintsugi starter kit for the corporate wellness program, irony so thick it felt scripted. She grasped the gold dust jar, weighing glittering particles that promised beauty through truth, not concealment. Her finger struck enter. Upload complete. Across the globe, clinicians' tablets, investor dashboards, and government terminals blinked as suppressed error logs bloomed like wildfire. Eleanor cursed. Then the intercom cut. She'd triggered a physical lockdown. Steel shutters crashed over exits. Alarms pitched higher. Cole swore. They were sealed inside the very spine they'd poisoned with honesty. From a vent above, a small voice drifted down, trembling yet clear. Mari, it's me, Lena. Mom says you're in danger. Please don't leave me again. Mari's breath caught. Between them and the only unsecured service lift stood a phalanx of red-lit security drones arming stun capacitors. She clutched the gold dust and the fractured mug, symbols of choice. Hide the break or gild it. With Lena's plea echoing through steel and sirens, Mari stepped forward into the strobing darkness, every nerve poised on the knife edge between rescue and ruin. Pull that trigger and the whole world will watch you blind her twice. Mari's voice cracked through the subterranean corridor before the lead drone could finish its weapon-ready chirp, every syllable ricocheting off steel like flint to tinder. She raised the chipped porcelain mug above her head, gold dust clinging to its fracture, and for a breathless instant, the machine's optical sensors fixed not on her face, but on the shimmering seam, an anomaly outside its threat database. Cole seized the glitch. He popped a maintenance panel, rerouting the drone's command channel to the public North Star guest Wi-Fi that was already saturated by investors frantically refreshing dashboards. Loop a live stream into its vision feed, he whispered, and Mari realized the mug wasn't just a distraction. It could be a lens. She thumbed her phone camera on, pointing it squarely at the fracture dusted with gold, its sparkle a living metaphor, and the drone's HUD filled with Benji's crowdsourced hashtags. Chat your Lena, chat break the code, confusing aggression algorithms that relied on clear lines of authority. The entire phalanx froze in observational standby, uncertain whether the target was a threat or the audience itself. But time bought was never time banked. Overhead, Eleanor initiated a purge protocol. Coolant valves hissed, smoke curling like accusatory spirits through the racks. Servers would self-immolate in minutes, erasing evidence and anyone left inside. Cole hacked ventilation to delay ignition, but the system demanded an override key held only in the executive penthouse 60 stories up. Mari's mind sprinted. Reach the lift, dodge drones, scale a tower turning itself to ashes. Then Lena's small voice crackled again through ductwork. Closer now. She'd slipped from her mother's grip, following tactile wayfinding strips installed for visually impaired visitors. The irony punched harder than any stun baton. North Star's token inclusivity might be the very path out. Head for the yellow bumps, sweetheart. They lead to me, Mari instructed, toggling speaker so Benji's online army heard the real-time rescue. Viewers erupted, creating digital heat North Star's PR team couldn't smother. Every delay Eleanor ordered only magnified exposure. Smoke thickened. Mary dashed forward, scattering gold dust into the drone lenses. Each fleck disrupted depth sensors, turning deadly machines into metallic statues. She reached Lena just as the girl's cane tapped coolant, pooling on the floor. Mari scooped her up, heart pounding a tempo raw with promise and peril, then pressed the chipped mug into Lena's hands. "Feel the crack," she urged, sprinting for the service lift. "That line means we survive broken but together." Cole keyed override. Doors slid open, coughing steam. Inside, emergency lighting painted them blood red, while the elevator hauled upward against a backdrop of muffled explosions, servers dying to keep secrets already set free on blockchain. Halfway up, the cabin shuddered. Eleanor had cut main power, seizing control. The lift jerked to a halt between floors, plunging them into darkness so thick Mari could feel Lena's heartbeat mistake itself for her own. A mechanical voice intoned, "Manual override engaged. Stand by for security interception." Mari squeezed the mug, porcelain warm from their flight, then whispered to Lena, "You told me broken things can still hold warmth. Now we need them to hold light." She cracked the emergency panel, sparks flaring, and in that brief glow saw a ladder shaft yawning like a vertical abyss. Above, distant footsteps, armed, rushing. Below, smoke and flame climbing fast. Mari inhaled the metallic air, planted Lena's hands on the first rung, and pushed upward into blackness, trusting a blind girl to lead them toward a vision neither of them had ever seen. "Climb faster, or North Star will write our obituaries in hexadecimal," Cole rasped, sweat stinging his eyes as Lena's cane tapped each metal rung above them like a metronome of faith. Smoke surged up the shaft, chasing their lungs. Mari wedged the chipped mug between ladder and wall to brace herself, porcelain scorching her palm, yet anchoring her resolve. 40 stories below, ignition sirens howled. Above, security boots hammered steel. "Left arm, right foot, repeat," Mari coached Lena, voice steady though her muscles quaked. The girl's fingers brushed flecks of gold dust still clinging to the fracture, and she whispered, "Broken things show the way when everything else goes dark," a mantra as fragile as it was fierce. They hauled on to the 52nd floor mezzanine just as the elevator car, now a furnace, roared past in a blast of heat that singed Cole's jacket and fused the mug's chip to a deeper crack. Sprinklers activated, hissing cold rain that turned rising smoke into ghostly fog. Out of it stepped Elise, the HR woman whose pen had hovered over Mari's waiver hours earlier, holding a master access ring and an expression torn between fear and conscience. "The board locked Eleanor out," she murmured. "She's barricaded in the penthouse deploying a deep-fake press briefing to claim this was eco-terrorism. If you reach her feed room, you can replace it with the raw blockchain data before national networks simulcast in 7 minutes." Mari studied Elise's trembling hand. Trust was another kind of fracture, but sometimes you poured gold into a stranger's crack and prayed it held. She accepted the ring, noting how the scanners flickered from red to green beneath its glow. They sprinted up emergency stairs into the Sky Garden, an indoor jungle curated for executives to sip mindfulness tea. Vines smoldered where server fires had licked through ducts, leaves raining ash like confetti for the end of a dynasty. Giant LED walls flashed North Star's slogan, "Vision for all," glitching to "Vision for none" as Benji's blockchain leak infected corporate signage. Mari burst into the penthouse control suite where Eleanor stood amid holographic reporters, her right eye shimmering with an AR lens that puppeteered the fabricated broadcast. "Mom!" Lena cried, but Eleanor's focus locked on the chipped mug in Mari's grip, its fracture now a molten vein. "You choose relics over your own future?" she sneered, fingers poised to trigger a purge that would swap truth with propaganda worldwide. Mari lifted the mug, letting sprinkler water bead over gold. Its reflection dazzled the AR lens, momentarily blinding Eleanor with a flare of her own vanity. Cole shoved the override ring into the master console. Benji's unfiltered evidence flooded every hologram, overriding Eleanor's lie in real time. Outside, thousands in the Nakur Selena vigil removed blindfolds simultaneously. Drone footage showed their upturned faces broadcast onto skyline billboards, a collective refusal to look away. Eleanor staggered, facade cracking. "They'll delist the company," she whispered, voice small for the first time. "Let it break," Mari answered. "We'll mend the pieces in daylight." But rotor wash thundered as a corporate helicopter settled on the roof hatch behind them. Two private security agents advanced, orders to extract Eleanor and secure the asset that was Lena. Smoke alarms shrieked anew, sprinklers died, leaving embers to glow. Mari stepped between the guards and the girl, chipped mug raised like a fragile shield, when a bullhorn rattled the glass. "Federal agents! Drop all weapons and stay where you are!" Floodlights strobed through the skylight, outlining every fracture in gold and ash as the doors blew inward. Federal custody or corporate collateral damage? The question boomed from the bullhorn as tactical lights sliced the smoky penthouse, catching Mari's raised mug so the gold vein blazed like a miniature sunrise. For a heartbeat, nobody moved. North Star's private guards frozen mid-step, Eleanor trembling behind her AR lens, Lena clutching her cane, Cole shielding the console that still spewed unfiltered data onto every screen in America. Then the lead federal agent advanced, badge glinting. "Marisol Davis, you're under arrest for unauthorized network intrusion under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act." The words hit harder than tear gas. Mari's lungs seized. She had expected backlash, but not handcuffs before the truth even cooled. Around her, the hologram wall flashed a split screen. On one side, Angel playing jazz outside with protesters. On the other, Mari's face labeled "Cyber Terrorist," a headline North Star's comms team had mailed to outlets minutes earlier. The company had pivoted. If it couldn't delete the leak, it would demonize the messenger. Cole stepped forward. "She acted under my instruction as legal counsel. Detain me." The agent shook his head. "You quit the board at 0947. She acted alone." That was the twist. Eleanor had filed Cole's resignation the moment the alarm sounded, preemptively severing his protection. Smoke curled like a sneer from vents above. Sprinkler lines were empty, servers still smoldering below. Yet the feds tracked only digital crimes, blind to physical peril. Mari tightened her grip on the mug, its crack scorching, and realized North Star's last play was to let the building burn, then blame rogue activists for the carnage. If the agents extracted Eleanor first, evidence of her arson protocol would vanish into sealed case files. "Look around," Mari said, voice hoarse but rising. "AI bias blinded children, including hers. Now she'll blind justice and you'll help." She held the mug high, lens glare forced every body cam to auto-adjust, zooming the fracture into national broadcast. "This crack is her legacy. Flaw declared, flaw repaired. Choose what the world sees." One agent hesitated. Behind his visor, brown eyes flickered with doubt. But Eleanor seized the moment, lunging for Lena to pull her toward the waiting helicopter. The girl resisted, dropping her cane. It rolled, striking the mug's base with a chime that echoed like a gavel. Startled, Eleanor lost footing, AR lens skittering across the floor, projection collapsing into raw daylight. For the first time, mother and daughter faced each other without augmented filters, one blinded by pride, the other by childhood trauma. Sirens from lower floors swelled, flames breached an air duct, orange tongues licking ceiling beams. Cole shouted, "Sprinkler main is manual above the helipad. Somebody has to open it." Eyes met across fissures of trust. Mari knew the agents wouldn't move while orders conflicted. So she ran, past Eleanor's outstretched hand, past the flinching guards, shoving open the roof hatch into rain-soaked night, where rotor blades hammered the air like a war drum. Wind threatened to tear the mug free, but she cradled it like a heartbeat while scrambling up a slick ladder toward a rusted valve wheel lit only by lightning. Below, chaos erupted, an agent barking, "Stand down!" Lena calling, "Mari!" Eleanor screaming, "Stop her! She'll kill us all!" One twist of the valve could drown the servers, evidence preserved in blockchain but bodies saved, or flood circuits and drop the helicopter from the sky. Mari planted her feet against the gale, porcelain scorching cold now, hands on the wheel. She inhaled, smoke, rain, fear, hope, and wrenched. The valve refused, metal seized by years of neglect. A second lightning flash revealed the helicopter's skid lifting, Eleanor half inside, Lena still on the roof edge. Mari's muscles screamed, gold dust washed to muddy rivulets, and the wheel gave a single ominous creak, then stopped. Sirens rose a note higher. Somewhere a beam cracked. Everything balanced on one more ounce of force.